Hey family, I didn't tell you guys I was going live today, so surprise, surprise. But I'm going to be on here really brief, okay? I sent out an email this morning and it asked people if they were ready for Q4, if they had their marketing in line, they're ready to get representation clients, and about half of my email list hasn't actually passed the EA exam yet to become an enrolled agent. And one of the things that people are getting stuck on is whether or not they should become an enrolled agent in 2024. So that's why I'm creating this video today to answer that question and my humble opinion about whether or not you should consider becoming an enrolled agent before this year is out. Okay. Now, if you're new here and for whatever reason I'm popping across your social media feed and you don't know who I am, my name is Timalyn Bowens and I'm America's favorite EA. I'm also the owner of Bowens Tax Solutions, which is a virtual firm that represents clients literally all over the world at this point. All right. And I'm passionate about what I do as an enrolled agent, and that is to represent taxpayers before the IRS. What is representation, you may ask? It is when I have the opportunity and privilege to step into the shoes of a taxpayer and handle their IRS issues on their behalf. Now, with that being said, right now, and I know I've said it before, but really right now, the IRS is ramping up their efforts to close the income tax gap. If you're not familiar with what the income tax gap is, it is the projection of what the Treasury Department should raise via the IRS in tax collections. It's the difference between that projection and what's actually raised and collected in taxes. There are so many people who are behind the ball when it comes to filing their taxes. And then we have so many people that are behind the ball on actually getting those taxes paid. Well, we're all pretty familiar with what happened a couple years ago. Well, 4 years at this point, with the big C. With that, the IRS wasn't as forceful with collection efforts. Have people been levied within the past 4 years? Absolutely. I've helped clients that have experienced that. Have people received tax liens? Absolutely. I've helped people who have had to deal with that. But it wasn't as the same rate as we were used to seeing pre-COVID. Well, that time of dormancy for the IRS to be enforcing collections is pretty much over, folks. The IRS is doing most of the heavy lifting for us with them sending out the notices, creating that sense of urgency, and unfortunately panic for a lot of taxpayers because now they feel the weight of the IRS on them and that tax debt, and they have to get their tax situation taken care of. So then that brings you into the picture. Only 3 licensed professionals can help taxpayers with representation work. That is your CPA, a certified public accountant, your tax attorneys, and then your enrolled agents. If you do not have one of these designations, you cannot fully represent taxpayers. Now, you can help fill out some paperwork. You can get on calls with the client and they can authorize you to speak on their behalf. But time is money. Our clients don't want to waste their time. Why would you take them through the process of having to be on the phone waiting with you for the IRS to pick up if you didn't have to? Once you pass the EA exam, you don't have to do that. If you don't have an accounting degree, if you didn't go to college at all, that's okay. You can still sit for and pass the special enrollment exam, which is the three-part exam to become an enrolled agent, and still have the same authority before the IRS as a CPA who has probably 150 credit hours and work experience, and you still have the same authority to represent taxpayers before the IRS as a tax attorney. Okay? So, if you have this desire to help taxpayers with their IRS situation, why wouldn't you become an EA in 2024? But let's look at what's in it for you, right? By doing representation work, I will admit it's a little more appreciated than tax prep work, right? Because everybody has to file taxes, and not most people are in a good mood to do so. But when we have this urgency created and we have a bigger pain point, a lot of times taxpayers are more appreciative. Some of them, not all, are easier to work with, but they're willing to pay for the time that you save them, and they're able to see that value more than they're able to see the value for tax prep. If you are building your own business, shameless plug, you should go to americasfavouriteea.com and join my mailing list and my group, How to Start an EA Firm. But if you're building your own business, and of course you want to have the impact of helping these taxpayers with their tax issues, doing representation work will also help you make more money faster because, truth be told, you can charge more for that because, again, people are going to see the value and it is a larger pain point, right? When you're doing representation work. I just realized you all know how fuddy duddy LinkedIn is. Let me make sure that I'm live on LinkedIn. If you are on LinkedIn right now, say hey and make sure that you were given StreamYard permission to actually share your comments because I'm not trying to be rude. I just forgot to check over there. Sorry. All right. I don't see myself. That's okay. I can always upload it later. All right. Because I didn't make an announcement that I was going live. So it's all good. But one, the demand for representation work is definitely about to go up. But unfortunately, we don't have enough accountants. Accountants maybe isn't the right word. We don't have enough professionals who can handle the representation load. Trust me, there is plenty of work for everyone when it comes to representation because we already have the decline in the accounting industry, right? With the decline in CPAs and then accounting students and all of that. But then you have to take into consideration not all CPAs do taxes. So we know not all CPAs are going to do representation work. Then you have to take into account that not all tax attorneys are going to do this type of representation work as well. So that leaves a lane wide open for EAs. And then when you take into account as well that 1 in 50 taxpayers has an issue with the IRS, the world is yours, right? So the demand is going up for representation work. That's reason number one that you should become an enrolled agent right now because you'd be coming in on the wave when more people need you. Reason number two, again, we are focused on the impact we want to make, but in addition to that, your rates for representation work are going to be higher than your rates for preparation work or bookkeeping, even if that's a service that you want to offer. Right? For me personally, it is more about the impact. I feel the bigger the impact, the money will follow, the more that you give and the more that you serve. And tax representation work allows you to do that. Now, here's a third reason that may be more urgent for you. So, you guys know what the Tax Cut and Job Act is? Check this out. So, right now, the testing period for this cycle is going to end on February 28th of 2025. With that being said, if you are familiar with tax law now, you still probably should use an EA review system to help you study, but If you've been doing taxes for the past 6 years or so, you should be somewhat familiar with that information. Right now, the Tax Cut and Job Act is set to expire at the end of 2025. So not only are there going to be minimal changes, right, in these next testing cycles, if the TCJA expires, you're looking at completely new material. Sorry, just giving you a little warning. So I've been doing taxes since 2011. If you know my story, I started with a big CPA firm and did some seasons with them before I was out on my own. When the TCJA was passed, it was one of the largest overhauls of tax law in history, right? So if all of that expires and you never did taxes prior to 2018, not only are you going to be learning completely new stuff for tax preparation, but the EA exam is going to also have completely new stuff that you may not be accustomed to. So don't push it off till 2025. Don't push it off till 2026. You need to go ahead and become an enrolled agent now so that you can serve the clients who need your help right now. So, again, reason number one, demand for representation is going up. Reason number two, you can build a business faster as far as what you're doing in sales if you're doing representation work. And then reason number three, you don't want to wait to see if we're going to have another overhaul of the tax system before you study for the exam. Now, personally, I am not an EA exam coach. I don't have a system. However, there are systems that I believe in. And if you're subscribed to this channel, you're in for a treat because I will be doing some reviews on the Hawk EA review system and also on the Glime EA review system. You can check out some videos right now where I talk to people from those two EA review systems. But if you want to know my personal opinion, those videos are coming up. If you have any other questions about becoming an EA, please let me know down in the comments. And as I gave my shameless plug earlier, if you are interested in becoming an EA and building an EA firm, go to www.americasfavoriteea.com and make sure that you subscribe to my email list. I'll see you guys in the next video.